featuring Mortgage and Muscle, and I have my girl here, Miss Kendall from Compass, Florida. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Even though it's rainy outside, we are enjoying our company here today, and we're going to go over real estate, being fit and in shape, mental, and just kind of the market and what's going on in today's industry.
Awesome. Sounds good.
All right, all right. So one thing we'd like to kind of start off with is get a little bit of your background and what got you into the industry.
So I just started in March. I got my license.
Okay.
And before that, I was a dietitian for 10 years. I was living in the Caribbean and in Europe and doing mainly telehealth. And I've worked in hospitals, cancer centers, dialysis centers, run the gamut of nutrition work. And when I was living actually in Curacao, I started to work at Century 21, writing their newsletters and blogs. So I decided to give it a go once I moved back to Florida.
Gotcha.
And kind of get my real estate license and see how things went with that. And I've thoroughly enjoyed it and been very happy. So
one thing that a lot of people probably have interest in is what's the difference between real estate here in America or just like off the island, like you said, in Curacao?
Oh, it's like night and day.
Okay.
In Curacao, it's the Wild West. There are no rules. There's no association. There's no structure. So you can just sell a house and not have a license, and there's no MLS to be able to compare properties, and it makes life much more difficult and also much more prone to fraud.
Interesting.
And people not being as honest about things. And it's much more difficult to get a mortgage.
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
it's really difficult.
There is financing out there though, but it's really
there is, but it's super stringent.
Okay.
Very stringent. Like if you can't be self-employed and get a mortgage. Yeah. I mean, you can, but it's like it's almost impossible.
Interesting. Very interesting. So she has another outlook in and out of just your standard market. So that's pretty interesting. So coming from a nutritional science background, what got you into the real estate? Like what was that switch that got you interested?
Let's see. So my family's moved quite a bit. I'm originally from New Jersey.
Okay.
And we moved to Savannah and then we moved to Florida. And my parents have moved 10 times in Jacksonville. So I've been around different
you saw the process.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Like moving to like a condo or a house and, always looking at properties.
Okay.
So it was kind of always in the back of my head. And my brother's also in real estate. He's a property manager. So there's, I forgot about my brother.
Okay. That makes sense. Bring it around a little bit.
Yeah. So I always enjoyed it. And when I was in Curacao, I had a friend who worked at Century 21 and I wanted to help them with their content as an English speaker because Curacao is Dutch. Gotcha. So I just kind of fell into it and I really liked it, learning more about, properties on the island and just properties in general and real estate in general. So.
Gotcha. Yes. It brings so many different people into this market. It's your biggest transaction, like we keep saying. So it has a lot of nuances and it keeps you stimulated. And individual like yourself, there's really reasons to look into it. So what do you think are things that are changing in the market since you're recently getting on board more or less in the industry? What type of technologies are you using to reach out to clients or prospects or just colleagues in general?
Mm-hmm. So usually most agents have a CRM, a customer relations marketing tool. And that's what we utilize to stay connected to our sphere and to other agents. To stay top of mind is really important in the industry because it's so competitive.
Absolutely.
So also attending, open houses, networking things for clients, having an interface that's really easy to use. So if I send them listings, they can see it on the website and, it's nice and clean and I can make notes and it makes life so much smoother.
No, absolutely.
And then also if I'm on the seller side, then we use showing time and the sellers can approve of certain time slots to be able to have buyers come to their house. So really it's all
an app or whatnot.
Yeah, it's an app that makes everything so much easier than having to call and be like, hey, are you going to be around?
Wow, yeah.
And, it saves time and energy, and that's really important to make life easier for our clients.
No,
that's like the biggest thing, and make things clear for communication.
Yeah, like that technology is very new. I know like the lock boxes are changing as well. Like not with the there's a code now. I guess you can scan it. Or something like that.
It's with Bluetooth. I have an app, and then I connect it to Bluetooth and put in a code, and then I get the key.
Super. It's crazy. It's the small, simple things that are happening recently. What would you say is something for people that are interested in joining the industry, or pros and cons of it so far in your beginning stages? What would you say, or like, go ahead, let's go for it, or just some hindering things to be aware of?
I think initially when you're starting out, the cost can be quite high to get your business going. Like there's certain fees that come with being associated with the national realtors, and then Northeast Florida, there's those fees. And then also you work 100% on commission.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a lot of savings, that might be really tough. Yeah, I would suggest having enough savings for at least a year.
Yeah.
To be able to have that cushion, or else it's not gonna work out.
Conducive. And most people, it's like being a server or bartender on steroids. Unless you're selling, you're not eating. So definitely got to be aware of that. So a big thing also that we like to kind of ponder here is, what do you think, or what do you do when like you have loan officers, I'm assuming, or brokers calling you, things like that? How does that conversation go? What kind of things are they pitching you, or what makes you choose one conversation over another? Just
when it comes to choosing a broker or a lender,
or just people cold calling you, getting your attention.
I think just how open and honesty is my biggest thing. Like even if something isn't great, you need to tell me. And if you don't tell me, I find out later, that's going to make me feel a little bit icky. So I think having that dialogue, and if I have a question, when it comes to say like an FHA loan or a VA loan, or something more complicated like self-employed people, if I call you, and you're not very responsive, or you're not very engaging, I'm just gonna be like, oh, I feel like I bothered him. And I want somebody,
you want to feel like you're in it together.
Yes, exactly, because we are. It's it's a team, and like communication's the biggest thing. Yes,
we're building a relationship. Communication is number one.
Yes,
absolutely,
for sure.
I agree. So other thing, what do you feel about the market? Are you focusing on one area when you're doing listings or clients, or you're bouncing around? Jacksonville's a huge area.
It is. It's a little overwhelming, but for now, I'll go anywhere since I'm a newbie.
Okay.
So wherever the work takes me, I will be there. I do live at the beach, so if there's opportunities there, I would love to have that because it's convenient. Jack's Beach.
Okay, there you go. All right.
But I'll go anywhere at this point. But Jack's Beach, Atlantic Beach, Neptune Beach, it's still a very hot market when it comes to pricing. Housing prices are still quite high. And other places in like Duval or St. John's have had a little bit of a dip.
Yeah. What would you say is the average listing time right now in Jack's Beach, Neptune?
Like the days on market?
Days on market, yeah.
At the beaches, I think it's about 49 days.
49 days?
Okay. Yeah, so that's an increase from last month.
Okay.
Also, the number of active inventory has increased as well.
Interesting.
And then closed sales have decreased. So houses are sitting on the market for longer. Yeah. We're not seeing as much of a seller's market. It's becoming more balanced towards a buyer's, or more of like a neutral market.
Understood.
Which is what we want to see, because over the past few years, it's just been a seller's market. And that's been, as you know, really tough for home buyers.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we've been talking about this. The Feds meet next week, Wednesday. And a lot of people are probably holding off to make that decision to take advantage or not until they make that decision. So that's probably a real reason why we're seeing homes sit a little bit longer, especially in a great market like Jack's Beach. Everybody knows we're like top 5 in the country. What would you say is something that you would indicate or communicate with the client for if they're looking to get involved through purchase? What would you give them, like the top 3 things? What would you tell them?
I would say don't wait too long, because a lot of home buyers will be coming into the market soon. Once the interest rates are going down. Mm-hmm. Finding yourself a good mortgage person to work with to get pre-approved. That's very important.
She said it.
And let's see, the third thing for home buyers, just knowing your numbers before you go into the process, mm-hmm. and what you're comfortable with, and finding a good agent that you trust and that knows the market and what to look for you. Yeah. And your best interest in mind.
Best interest. More personable with a nice smile.
Yes.
There you go. Yeah. So this is the portion we like to talk about fitness. This again is mortgage and muscles. Go ahead. Flex on the road one time.
Oh yeah.
Okay, there you go. So what do you do to kind of stay in shape? Of course, I'm assuming your diet is pristine with a nutritional background.
Everyone says that. I'm like, I'm a real person too. No, for sure. I eat fairly healthfully. Okay. As a dietitian. Yeah. But I'm a normal person. Like I eat pizza, I eat ice cream, I eat regular food.
Yeah. You just know how to count the calories really quick.
No, I don't count calories. I believe that all foods should be included in a diet. Mm-hmm. That like all foods fit. Like when you're too restrictive, then you tend to like think about those foods or those things that you can't have, mm-hmm. and it's not good for your mental health sometimes.
True.
So like if I really want pizza, I'm like, no, I can't have it. Like then I keep thinking about it. But instead of just having like a slice and then having a salad or having balance, mm-hmm. I think that that's something, it's important to me and for like my clients that have had, over the years of creating that balance of not being too on one side or the other.
I'm on the other side balance right now. Couple cookies, couple slices, but we're working on it.
Everyone's a work in progress.
Yeah, everybody's a work in progress. Yeah. We're all starting from different points.
Exactly.
Sure as well. Absolutely.
Nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect. No. And you're trying to maintain, trying to get to a healthy baseline.
Yeah, to feel good, physically, mentally, spiritually.
There we go. All of that. So physically, what type of activities do you do to kind of stay in shape?
I do a lot of walking with Henry, my dog, little Henry. And I do Pilates as well a few times a week.
Okay.
Yeah, but just finding time throughout the day to like go for a little walk or get up and move, like those little things do make a big difference. Yeah. I don't hold myself to like a strict gym schedule or anything like that. Well, or like I do lift weights, but
okay, but it's don't acknowledge it. You used to be a runner. Yes. You told me that. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep, I was a very avid runner.
Okay. Yep. So that has to have some type of adjustment to where you are currently, or mm-hmm. like where your baseline.
Yes.
Right. You didn't start from nothing. You used to be very. Right?
Yes, of course. Okay, yeah, and I'm still super active. I just don't put that much pressure on myself to kill myself at the gym anymore. Okay. Or like run a marathon. I don't want to overdo it because then you have injuries or there can be other problems. So I just try to do like little things every day, like 30 to 60 minutes a day.
And that's a lot. I mean, most people hard to get 2 times out of the week with their their mm-hmm. life, their kids, their work. So you gotta take some time out.
Also, walking counts. Like
for sure.
So I know it's not as like sexy as CrossFit or all of those other things, but it's like even just going for a little like stroll in the neighborhood is a good thing to do.
What true. That makes sense. That makes sense. Well, one thing I do also want to ask you about: what is your best client, or what type of people should reach out to you for advice, or even looking to buy it in the market currently?
Let's see, for clients, certain clients that I want to work with.
Yeah.
Sure. I really like working with first-time home buyers, investors as well. I just went to a seminar about real estate investing. Okay. And not that I'm an expert or anything, but I retained quite a bit of knowledge with that. Mm-hmm. So I feel more comfortable working with those kinds of people. Mm-hmm. And who else? Also sellers, listing their houses and getting them up to speed with the number that they want, mm-hmm. and, giving them advice about certain things that they should or shouldn't do to get the return on investment. I feel like I have a good knowledge base there as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So this market right now is changing monthly, like you said previously. And as well, with rates and inventory increasing, buyers are going to start getting in. So rates are going to drop. Prices may go up a little bit or stay the same, but more influx of buyers will create more opportunities for everyone, but a little bit more competitiveness will occur as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that the market will kind of not really adjust until next year, you think, just with that being said, because we're getting into slower months? I kind of find out during the big holidays, nobody really wants to move during those times.
Right. And kids are back in school.
Kids are back in school now. But with the big news that will happen soon, do you have an idea or what Compas is saying? Or
I think that there's, like you mentioned, more buyers will be flooding the market, and there will be more than one rate cut over the next 6 months. It's like a long-term plan that will happen with the Fed. And so I think things might move more quickly at the, after the new year, with how the inventory might not be able to keep up with how many people might be back on the market.
That's true.
So it's a lot of factors to think about, but supply and demand.
Yeah, everything.
So, if there's a lot of home buyers and there's not enough supply,
we'll see what happens.
Yes,
we're
optimistic.
Yeah, we're optimistic. I think it'll be better for overall. You're gonna if you're aggressive and you're successful, you're gonna continue to be. And if you're learning and you're adding to the knowledge that you have and you're taking in more and you're just encountering new people, is going to happen for us in our industry. But also, we are in a place where a lot of positive will come for new first-time home buyers or investors, or especially in Jacksonville's market. It's only growing. There's a lot of new builds, things like that. If you had to ask your broker or loan officer you're working with, is there any questions that you would like to know? Just kind of questions you've been thinking about?
I think the biggest thing, I work with a lot of people who are self-employed. Like, if you can touch on how that process differs from somebody from like a conventional or like a VA loan, if it's more involved.
Gotcha.
And how that process works.
Yeah, for sure. So self-employed borrowers have a few different avenues. We could do our standard conventional loan, VA. If you're military background, we would have to average your income for the last 2 fiscal years. And then you would get a profit and loss as well to make sure your income isn't decreasing. As long as your income isn't decreasing, we could use that income. We'll just average it, or unless your last previous fiscal year has declined, we're only going to use that income. If that doesn't work with your debt to income, we could look at a profit and loss loan. So literally, if your accountant literally makes your profit and loss, we'll just use that income for a loan.
Okay.
The other option is a bank statement loan. There's 12-month programs and 24-month programs. Those are great loans. They're going to use whatever is in your deposits for your business. They're going to use a 15 to 30%, depending on what lender, your credit profile, and what type of business. They're going to say, okay, you're making 200 grand deposits over the last 12 months. We're going to either take 15% off the top as your operation expenses or overhead, or 30%. It really just depends. The same thing with a 24-month. What the thing about a bank statement and profit and loss are, the rates are a little higher. You're gonna pay for that. You're gonna pay for the rates, and then your down payment is a little higher as well. The lowest down payment opportunity is 10% down. Okay. While conventionally you have the 3 or the 5, and FHA you have the 3.5. That's the nuance between the two.
Okay, that's still not too bad.
Not too bad at all.
And any like hard money that you work with?
I do. So for investment clients, I have a lot of hard money. I have DSCR loans, a very popular product.
We were talking about that yesterday.
Yeah. So that product is very aggressive. You could 20% down. You don't have to close in your name, close in an LLC. It keeps it out of your debt to income and your personal credit score. So that's the big benefit there. And then there's no limit on how many properties you can have. And that goes for mixed use as well. That goes for units over 5 also. So if somebody's looking for that.
That sounds like a really good option.
Yeah, and a lot of people are taking advantage. And those rates are very competitive right now. They're not much higher than conventional loans.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So
were they always like that, or has it come down recently? They
have come down aggressively. And a lot of these investors, they don't go by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, or even more or less, I want to say the Feds. They kind of follow the Feds, but because they're backed by investors, they kind of make their own rates.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so
Okay.
they could get really aggressive. I have one company that is offering like par 6, like under 6% right now.
Damn.
Yeah, very
That's
aggressive.
Incredible.
Yeah, for sure. But you gotta have the credit. So credit and money
Right.
talks. Credit and money talks.
Okay.
No, for sure.
Great.
Well, is there anything else we kind of wanted to go over at this point?
I think I'm good.
I think
I've
we're
had a
good
lot of
too.
fun.
I
Yeah.
hope you guys tune in. If you have any questions or want to reach out to me or Miss Kendall, just give us a call, email, or text. Our information will be on the bottom of the screen, and we'll talk to you soon. And see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.